The Tiger's Eye. Tiger Eyes Award is given in recognition of a student who has improved, impressed, and imprinted their mark on Tamanend Middle School. When teachers are selecting a student for this award, they consider students who have shown positive growth over their past 3 years. They select a student who has consistently added in a positive way to the classroom by merely being him or herself. Introducing our presenter is the recipient of the Tiger Eyes Award from last year when he was in 9th grade, Troy Ontrup, who joins us on his birthday.
Good morning, everyone. This morning, I'd like to tell you a little story about this kid I knew. It starts when he was in 7th grade. Actually, it may help if I start just before 7th grade so you can really understand this kid. You see, before he even got to Tamanend, this kid was so nervous about middle school that he begged his mother to ask his guidance counselor to give him a private tour of the building, just so that he started to feel a little bit better. While that tour helped, it wasn't enough to make him truly ready to be himself once he walked through Tamanend's doors. He was shy, nervous, and totally unsure of himself. Since he couldn't decide who he wanted to be, he looked for inspiration from the best teachers he knew, his peers. But that might not have been the best decision. He learned how to not do his homework, not study for tests, and not be prepared for class. After all, isn't that what makes you cool? At least he thought so. Luckily, one of his teachers put him aside one day to teach him the greatest lesson that he learned in middle school. Always be yourself. The person he had decided to be wasn't really him, and deep down, he knew this. He slowly realized that the path he had chosen wasn't the correct choice, and he needed to make some changes. He turned his study habits around, completed his work, and eventually became an A student. He eventually moved on to high school to take honors classes, something that he thought never would have been an option for him. If you haven't figured out yet, the kid in the story was me. Everything that you just heard me say was true, including the part about the private tour. I stood here 1 year ago to receive the Tiger Eyes Award. That day validated all that I had been through. It showed me that all the hard work that I had done finally paid off. That day represents a milestone in my life, a milestone that has given me the courage to be who I am today, and the courage to actually be who I want to be, not who everyone else wants me to be. The award represents positive growth, strength, and the belief that the best you is the true you. Today's recipient embodies those ideals. I would like to introduce the presenter to introduce the winner of the Tiger Eyes Award for this year, Mr. Blair.
Back. It brings me great honor on behalf of the Tamanend staff to stand up here today and present the Tiger's Eye Award for the 2012-2013 school year. The recipient of this year's Tiger's Eye Award has led a storied career here at Tamanend Middle School. Next fall, you will certainly find him on the gridiron for Central Bucks South. With that in mind, I've decided to recount this award winner's days here at Tamanend like that of a college or a professional athlete. 7th grade, or the rookie year for this student at Tamanend, was quite an adventure. 7th grade social studies teacher referred to this student as a classroom leader. Normally, this would be a great characteristic for an underclassman here at Tamanend. However, this power wasn't always used for good. This student was similar to a superhero in training. The only question being, would that power be used for good or evil? In those magical days of 7th grade past, classes were shorter. But one teacher had the pleasure of spending approximately 86 minutes per day with our superhero in training. Homeroom, resource, and reading were the kryptonite for this protagonist in training. The moment the 7th grade student neared Mr. Schmidt's classroom, the evil superhero made his triumphant return. He was tough in class, immature, no filter, trouble identifying boundaries of appropriateness. Ouch. The fall round of parent-teacher conferences always provides teachers with some insight into the new 7th grade students who frequent their classes. And by the fall of 2010, there were plenty of concerns for this rookie student. He appeared loud, unruly, immature, inappropriate at times. Certainly, this must have been different than the wonderful child his parents knew at home. Oh, how wrong we were. During that infamous parent conference in November of 2010, the 7th grade Journey team was kindly informed by his parents that waterboarding their son would be an acceptable, although highly illegal, form of punishment for his unruly behavior. Perhaps it would have been best if this student were redshirted his 7th grade year to watch and learn about how to be a student at Tamanend. And so 7th grade continued and a similar pattern ensued. Yet small changes were noticed. The evil power-yielding superhero started to slowly grow and change. He began to notice that he did have the power to make changes in his attitude, his behavior, and his demeanor. He also still took the full opportunity to wear a Renaissance dress with one of his classmates and dance to classical music. Perhaps the summer of growth was still needed. Fast forward to 8th grade. Sophomore experience here at Tamanend was a year of new opportunity. As a member of the Freedom Team, our superhero was ready to start the year out fresh. Yet the legacy of 7th grade remained. When in August of 2011, I saw my class roster for a 5th period social studies class, I quickly identified a name that I had been warned about. Seat him up front, I thought to myself. That will surely fix these behavioral problems I had been hearing about. By the time the first day of 8th grade rolled around, this student had grown, not just in size and stature, but maturity as well. Many of the horror stories that defined his 7th grade year were slowly disappearing. The superhero was turning towards the good side, and we all hoped that 8th grade would be his breakthrough year. As Miss Rock, his 8th grade English teacher, duly noted, everything about this student is big. His size, his enthusiasm, his mouth, and his heart. He likes to seek attention, but often is also his classmate's biggest cheerleader. He is inquisitive, sometimes to be off task, but more often because he genuinely wants to know things. He embraces challenges with enthusiasm and tries to overcome them. He has a zest for life that really is contagious. It was that same contagious attitude I witnessed during our Constitutional Convention debates and our documentaries for the American Revolution, dressed as a Hessian mercenary, partying on Christmas Eve, or as Superman attempting to sell a toothbrush to Civil War soldiers. Everything this student did in 8th grade was leaving a unique imprint. He was now impressing, but in an overwhelmingly positive way. The growth, both physically and mentally, was leading to a transformation right before our very eyes. Finally, the pinnacle of the student's illustrious career came in 2012-2013. The apprehension that teachers may have once had when seeing the student's name on their roster was justly disappearing. On August 28, 2012, I saw a familiar name on my advanced social studies roster for 2nd period. A name just 1 year prior that instilled fear, anger, anxiety, perhaps even a little bloating, was replaced by genuine excitement. I like this kid, I thought to myself, and he took my suggestion to enroll in the advanced course, even better. Clearly, I was not alone with the sentiment. Mrs. Fink, his 8th grade math teacher, saw the exact same growth. The student was now harnessing his energy in a very positive, influential way, noting that he was now a true gentleman. Ms. Sheppy referred to him with the exact same descriptor, a true gentleman who has the ability to show a sensitivity to others that many 9th graders do not possess. Was this the same student that caused so many 7th grade teachers headaches, whose parents suggested waterboarding as a disciplinary measure? The change was profound, the impression was genuine, and the growth was evident. Academically, he has excelled in the 2012-2013 school year, maintaining a 3.6 GPA or higher throughout his freshman year. However, this alone no longer defines him. It is the little actions that prove the superhero mentality has forever changed for the positive. This year alone, I've seen him do little things outside the classroom that impressed myself and others. During the pep rally, he high-fived some of the students from the Autistic Support Program. He was upset after attending the Kellyanne Dolan meeting and hearing that participation was down from last year. He was so proud after his relay team held a very successful car wash. He gave advice to Spanish 1 students before their final exam. He's always smiling. He talks to everyone, regardless of the clique or the caste that they may be labeled as. He always says hello to teachers, even those he doesn't have in class. It brings me great honor to present this award to a student as deserving as has ever received this award in my 10 years as a teacher here at Tamanend. A student that has impressed, imprinted, and impacted everyone he has come into contact with at the hallowed halls of Tamanend. I am incredibly confident that this student's growth has only just begun, and that greatness is surely in his cards. If anyone needs further proof that this student has grown and changed, one needs to look no further than this picture from the first day of 7th grade. Danny Pablo Shakiro Marks III, please come forward.